welcome to our lesson for today.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start this lesson by remembering what we talked about last time. So last time, remember, we were talking about David and how David and his men lost everything when the Amalekites raided their home at Ziklag. So they took everything of theirs, their livestock, their wives, their children, their sons, their daughters, their babies. They took everything away. Then David was able to convince his men that we should go after these Amalekite raiders, and if we go after them, we will be able to recover everything that we lost. Yes. So David and his men went after the Amalekite raiders, but when they got to the Bessel Brook, remember David had 600 men. 200 of these men got too tired to go on. So they decided that these 200 will stay back and take care of the luggage, while the rest of us, the remaining 400, will go after these Amalekite raiders. And that is exactly what they did.
Yes. So on their way to recover what the Amalekites had stolen, so they're in the wilderness. And then some of David's men saw a young boy that was lying there as if he was dead. So they went close to him and they tried to wake him up, and they realized that the boy was actually not dead, but he was too weak and too tired. So one of the men suggested, let's give him food and see if he will be able to recover. And that is what they did. So they gave him food, they gave him water, and within no time the boy was strong again, and he was able to sit up, and he was even able to talk.
Yes. So then David asked the boy, "Who are you?" Because it turns out the boy hadn't eaten for 3 days and 3 nights. And when David asked him, "Who are you?" then David said, "I am an Egyptian, but my master was an Amalekite, and we were with him when we went on the raid
at Ziklag.
But my master was with me. But when we were on our way back, I fell ill and I got too sick and I couldn't go on. So my master left me here to die."
Yes. So the master threw him in the wilderness to die there because he was sick. And so that is how David was able to meet that boy, and they helped him because they gave him food.
Yes. And then David realized, he got this idea. This boy could lead them to where the Amalekite raiders are.
Yes.
So David asked this boy, "Will you show us where the Amalekites are?" And the boy said, "Yes, I will show you, but only if you promise not to return me to my master and not to kill me."
Yes. So David knew that this boy had to have an idea of where the Amalekites were, because remember, the boy was with the Amalekites when they had the raid at Ziklag, and so they were together with the Amalekites even when they left him there. So he had an idea where the Amalekites were going. And so because the boy agreed to show David where the Amalekites were, David took him in and they went together as the boy was showing them where to go. So when they got to where the Amalekites were, David looked and he saw all the Amalekites. They were drinking, having fun.
They were eating, sleeping, relaxing. They were so relaxed because they thought David and his men were so far away. They can never find us. They can't find us. So they were so relaxed they hadn't even set up a guard. So David and his men waited until night fell, and at night they attacked and they killed all of the Amalekites. They killed them throughout the night, all the way the next day, all the way to the evening. And by evening, only 400 young men had managed to escape. Yes, exactly.
So because the Amalekites didn't think David was going to come anywhere close, because they thought David was not even at Ziklag by the time we were leaving, so there's no way he will catch up with us. They didn't put any guard, they didn't put anyone to watch over them, so they just enjoyed themselves. But David was able to get them, and they killed all the Amalekites except 400 men who were able to escape. So what David and his men did is they went in and they took everything. They took their wives, they took their children, their daughters, everything, their livestock,
their sheep. They took everything that was there among the Amalekites, including all of the Amalekites things, and they said, "This all belongs to David."
So apart from what was theirs that had been stolen, they also took what belonged to the Amalekites, because now the Amalekites were dead and some had escaped, but everything else was there left for them to take. So David and his men took everything together with them, and they started marching back to their land.
Yes, so after they had recovered everything, they started going back home. But when they got to the Bessel Brook, remember they had left 200 men there guarding the luggages. Yes. So some of the men who had gone to fight started saying, "We'll give these men back their wives and their children, but we won't give them anything else that we've gotten. We'll give them none of the livestock or anything else that we've gotten."
Yes, because they felt, "You have not worked for it. You did not go to fight with us.
Yes,
you
we
did not
have
go to
done more
battle.
than you.
You have just stayed here. We have done more than you have done. So we will just give you your children and your wives, and then
Everything
the rest
else is
belongs
ours.
to us.
Yes. But then David said, no, this cannot be.
Yeah.
This is not true. We will share
Everything
everything
equally.
because everything that we have has come from God, and we
yes.
should share everything out equally,
Yes.
because no one has done less work than the other. So those who fought and those who remained with the luggage
They are
will get
all
an
equal.
equal share.
Yes.
And this became an act. This
Became
stayed.
a rule.
It
became a rule
rule.
in Israel. David
Yes.
said that that's a rule in Israel, and it is followed to date.
Yes.
Yes.
So after they decided to do this, everyone was happy because they had recovered everything.
Everything.
They even had more in excess.
Yes.
Everyone, including David, was so happy
Yes.
because now David started believing that maybe his troubles were coming to an end.
Yes. So from this we learn, children, that we always need to be kind and to be good to people, even them that we do not know. So for example, the master left the young boy there because he was sick. That was not good at all. But then David and his men were able to help this young boy, and this young boy is the one that led them to where the Amalekites were. So always show kindness and be good to everyone that you meet.
Yes. So now it's time for us to sing our songs. Everyone stand up and help us sing this song. Okay, kids, so we've just talked about how David and his men were able to recover everything that they got from the Amalekites, and they even had in excess.
Yes.
So when they got back, some of them didn't want to share with the others, but David said, no, everything we have, God has given to us. So we are going to share it
Equally.
with everyone. We're going to share it equally with everyone. And that is what we should do, because God has given us his love, and we need to share it with everyone
Yes.
around us.
Yeah.
So now that's what our song is about. So stand up and help us sing this song.
Yes. Got a rhythm in my heart and in my soul. Got a reason for this joy I can't control. I wanna sing, I wanna dance, and give everyone a chance to hear about this endless love I know. Oh, what you give to me is not for me to give, it's for the world to see your love. Every day you're giving me your kindness. Every day you're giving
to do our crafts. Now, we've just talked about how David and his men were kind to the boy that they met on the road, and how because they helped him, they were able to go and find the Amalekites and attack them and get everything that was theirs. They got it back, and they even got more in excess. So now we're gonna make a craft that's going to remind us to always perform acts of kindness, no matter what time of day it is. Throughout the day.
Kind to everyone.
Yes. So we are going to be making a clock that has acts of kindness. So what you're gonna need for this is three different colors of manila paper. So I have a brown one for my clock, white for my acts of kindness, and then yellow for my clock hands. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is to make your clock hands. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of manila paper and I have cut it into strips, very thin strips. Then I'm going to cut this strip into half. And make sure that it fits in the clock. So you see, if I put this on my clock, it fits. But then I need the triangle shape at the top. So take another fatter strip and just cut a smaller shape, like a smaller rectangle. And from this, we cut out our triangle. And once you have the triangle shape, you just take your stapler and you join those two parts. The straight strip and the triangle shape. When we put them together, we have our clock hand. So this is what I did for my clock hand. So one clock hand is longer and the other clock hand is shorter for the hour hand and the minute hand. So next thing I need to do is I need to fold my circle because I need to find the center. So I'm going to remove everything from my paper and I'm going to fold my circle. So fold it in half. And then open it and fold it half the other way around. And then open it. So where these two lines meet is the center of our circle. So I'm going to take my scissors, and be careful when you do this. You can use scissors or you can use a pen, but you can use a pin or you can use anything with a sharp point because we need to poke a hole at the center of our circle. So poke a hole, but not too big of a hole. Just make sure it's gone through. Turn it around and make sure it's gone through. And once we have a hole at the center of a circle, we can now start sticking everything on it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put down our acts of kindness. So like I said, we had white paper that we just cut into small rectangles. And this is where we're going to write our acts of kindness down. So the first thing we're going to write is share, because remember, David said they need to share everything equally. So I'm going to write share. And the next thing I'm going to write as an act of kindness is love, because we always need to love one another.
David and his men showed love to the young boy that they met, and that is how the boy was able to help them. Because without love, you can't share, you can't help. So
exactly. So we've written share. I just needed to write mine again. We've written share. We've written love. We're going to write care next, because we always need to care for everyone around us and everything around us. So share, love, care. And finally we're going to write give.
And there's so much you can give. You don't just have to give money. You can give time
and toys.
You can donate your
clothes, snacks, food,
clothes that you don't use. You can share your meal with someone who does not have. There's so much you can do. To show love, to show care, and to show kindness.
So now that we've written down all of our acts of kindness, and remember, you can add as many acts of kindness as you want. So what I'm going to do is you are going to organize everything, put everything down, and then I'm going to take my stapler, and with my stapler I'm going to staple each of these acts of kindness down. So you can start with whatever side you want. So I'm going to start with the top and staple down share. And then I'll staple love.
So
and I'll
what
staple
you do,
give.
because you're making a clock, you're just going to take the top of the hour is at 12. So where you have 12, that is where you stick your first act of giving. Then the next one is 3.
Yes.
And then 6. And then 9.
Like the 4 corners of a clock.
Yes.
And remember, we said you can add as many acts of kindness. So as you add the acts of kindness, you can fill in the rest of the hours.
Yes.
So the next thing we need to do is we need to connect our clock hands to our clock.
Yes.
So to do this, you need to take each of your clock hands and place them. So you find out exactly where it is that you can place them so that they face the clock. And then you take your scissors, and just like we did before with our circle, we take our scissors and we make a small hole through. So you do that on both the clock hands, the longer one and then the shorter one. So measure, make a mark, then make a hole. And remember what I said, be careful when you're making your hole so you don't poke yourself.
Don't hurt yourself. You can ask for help.
But make sure it has gone through both sides.
Yeah.
So now after we've made our hole, we can move on to joining our clock hands to our clock. So I'm going to use ribbon, but you can use thread, you can use a pin, you can use whatever it is that you want to use to connect them, as long as your clock hands can move after you've connected them.
Yes.
So I have a piece of ribbon here, and I'm just going to cut a small strip. Then I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to thread it through. So I'm going to make sure it passes through all 3 holes. So first of all, I will start with the clock, and I will make sure it passes through the hole for my clock.
Yeah.
All the way to the other side. Be careful and ask for help if you need it.
Yeah, because if you're not careful, you're going to tear your clock apart. You don't want that to happen, so ask for help.
Yes, so make sure it's small enough to pass through.
Yeah.
Then take it through like you would thread in a needle. So once it passes through, take the next hand, and I think I'm going to take my hour hand and I'm going to pass that through. So make sure the ribbon goes through the hole you've made.
You can use a string also. You can use a thumbnail or anything sharp.
Yes, just make sure it can go round because our clock hands need to go round.
Yeah.
So there I have my clock hand, my hour hand, and then now my minute hand. I almost said my second hand, but we don't have a third one. And now my minute hand, and take it through. So now once everything is through, align everything and tie a knot. So make sure everything goes through, align it and tie a knot. Once you tie a knot at the top, you also have to make sure to tie a knot at the bottom so that nothing ever
doesn't come.
Yeah, so it doesn't come apart. So we have a knot at the top
And a knot at the bottom.
and a knot at the bottom.
And our clock is secure.
And our clock is secure. Now, our clock is secure, but we don't know what our clock is about.
Yeah.
So we need to write acts of kindness. Of kindness. So now we know we have our clock, and our clock is going to remind us to perform acts of kindness
Throughout the day.
throughout the day,
Yes.
all the time, every time, no matter what hour it is or what minute the clock is showing. We
have
need to
to
always
show
perform our
kindness.
acts of kindness.
Yes.
So now you can take your acts of kindness round. So share
Throughout the day. So we have our minute hand, we have our hour hand.
and
And
love.
as the day goes by, you need to show kindness to everyone. So you can love people, share what you have with everyone around you, give what you can, and also show care and love.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's our craft for today, and that's our lesson for today. So until next time, bye.